Hi everyone. I wanted to make another video today. One of the things I wanted to make clear about this YouTube channel is that I will be promoting my book on this channel, but I will also be discussing topics related to the ex-Jehovah's Witness community. I will also be discussing topics related to politics and social issues. And of course, that's what my book is based on. It's based on my transition from the Jehovah's Witness cult into mainstream life, as well as politics and social issues and activism. So that's what I'm going to be talking about on this channel from time to time, and the topic will always vary, but it will be one of those issues. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. Another thing you should be aware of is I consider Jehovah's Witness group a cult. I know some people have big problem with that word. They find it offensive, and I apologize if that's if that's the case for you. But cult experts consider Jehovah's Witnesses a cult. They have the characteristics of a cult. I dislike the phrase, it's called a high control group. I've always disliked that phrase because it removes the danger. The concept of danger is not present in that. When you say high control group, you could be talking about Weight Watchers, and you'd be right. So I don't like high control group. I always use cult because it conveys that there's a danger there. There's harm there, and that has to be inclusive of talking about these kinds of groups. I can explain it better this way. It's no different than if I'm talking about a pimp. And instead of saying the word pimp, I say he's a personnel guy. He's human management or some. You have to be clear. If you want an element of danger to be conveyed, you need to use a word that conveys that danger. And like I said, a high control group does not convey danger, and whereas cults do. And so that's why I like the word cult, and that's why I use the word cult. So that's another thing I wanted to make everyone aware of. But today I did want to talk about something very important to me. So when I left the Jehovah's Witness cult, right, I got involved in activism. And that's something that Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't do. They don't do it. They feel that Jehovah God is going to take care of everything. So we don't vote because God's going to take care of everything. If there's a social issue, whether it be homelessness, hunger, school shootings, whatever it is, God's going to take care of it, so we don't do anything. And so shifting away from that mindset, it takes time. It takes time. If you're an ex-Jehovah's Witness, I want to encourage you to do that. Register to vote. Become involved in whatever social issues are of importance to you. The March for Our Lives, Black Lives Matter, whether this latest social issue that we have with the immigrants, that's another good example. But whatever is important to you is a good way to use your energy. And the reason I say that is because some ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, they state that after they left the cult, they feel like their life doesn't have purpose, that they lack a meaning in life. When we were Jehovah's Witnesses, we went out preaching all the time, trying to save people. We told them Armageddon's around the corner and we're going to save their lives. And so now that we've stopped being Jehovah's Witnesses, we don't engage in that work anymore. And then we feel like we don't have anything of importance or significance to do. And so this is a wonderful alternative to find some way of being an activist, whether you're speaking out against the cult, whether you're getting involved in social issues or whatever. But you need to identify something that has meaning and importance to you in an area where you feel like your voice is important and you want to lend your voice to that cause and you want to help find a solution. So that's one issue I wanted to bring up today. Another issue I wanted to bring up is, again, with the lines of once you leave the cults. Some people, especially people who have just left, if you've just left, some people are very, it's an emotional time. It's an emotional time, it's a very confusing time. And so they're like, I don't know what to do now. I need help. I feel lost. I need guidance. And so this is what this video today is going to be about as well. So in addition to finding causes that are important to you, here are other things that I recommend people who have just left. This is what I recommend you do. First, therapy. There are therapists that specialize in cults. That is their field. That is all they do. Talking to them is wonderful. They can help you sift through so many of the cobwebs and the echoes that linger after you left. So that's one thing that I really strongly recommend. And the reason why I strongly recommend it be a therapist who specializes in cults is because not all therapists consider Jehovah's Witnesses as dangerous. So when you tell them, listen, I was a Jehovah's Witness, I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness since I was 6 years old, to them it's like, that's no big deal, what's the problem? And so then you spend most of the time in your session trying to explain to them what it was like being a Jehovah's Witness, and you try and explain to them the different things and harmful activities that go on in that cult. And so instead of you getting help, you're giving an education to the therapist. And that's not really helpful to you as the client. So that's why I don't recommend just going to a therapist, just a regular therapist. Try to find one that specializes in cults and go to them. And it's a big difference. When I spoke to therapists that I talked to, I didn't have to explain anything. All I said was I was Jehovah's Witness, and from there she knew everything. I didn't have to explain anything. So that's very important. Second thing I recommend is Watchtower is going to try to take away all your friends, your family. Don't have any contact with this person. She's disassociated, she's disfellowshipped, she's faded, whatever it is. So they're going to try to isolate you. So the first thing you need to do is to replace all those friends you're going to lose. Your family, you're going to replace it. I don't recommend trying to go back and forth with your family and all this. If they're saying they're going to shun you, respect their wishes. I recommend you join. There's ex-Jehovah's Witness Facebook groups. There's the XJW Reddit page, that you can join. The XJWs, we do meetups from time to time. So again, you need to attach yourself to new people. Go to college. Your co-workers, look up old classmates. What I did was I went on Facebook and I found some Jehovah's Witnesses that I grew up with, that I went to the Kingdom Hall with. And some of them had left. So again, on Facebook, I'm connected to them. So again, that's what I recommend as well. You're gonna have to replace your social circle. So get started on that. Another thing I recommend is that some of us, we were told not to go to college, we didn't go to college. So, again, we are going to have to find out any educational gaps that we have, any career gaps, any kind of deficiencies that we have in those two areas, and we're going to have to fix them. We're going to have to, either get some college education, career education. We have to make sure that we can support ourselves. Because remember, we may have put all that stuff off thinking Armageddon's going to come any minute, we'll be living in paradise earth. We have to prepare that may not happen in our lifetime, that we may be here on this planet 50, 60, 70, 80 years, 90 years, 2030, 2040, and no Armageddon. So please don't put off college. I know, many of us were raised don't go to college. And sometimes after we leave, we still hang on to that. We still go by that instruction. And what I'm telling you is please don't do that. Plan for your future as if you got, next 50, 60, 70, 80 years. Pretend that Armageddon's not coming till the next, generation. It won't be here till 21. So just, please don't build your life around what Watchtower told you to do. Another thing I try to encourage people is when you leave, Watchtower wants you to feel some type of negative emotion. You're either going to feel sad, angry, you miss your family, you're going to be isolated, you're going to be upset about that. Some people, every time a hurricane comes to the area, or a tornado, or earthquake, Every time some kind of natural disaster happens, they get nervous that they're going to die or Armageddon's coming or something, and it freaks them out, right? That's what Watchtower wants. And so what I'm telling you today is please do not validate Watchtower's nonsense. Move on with your life. Move on with it. Don't worry about all of this death and Armageddon and this and that. You left, leave all that with it. That's Watchtower's deal. That's what they promised is going to happen. Leave that with Watchtower. You just live your life. Go on with your life. The other thing I recommend therapist told me to do was to make a list of all the stuff you couldn't do as a Jehovah's Witness that you've always wanted to do. And go do that stuff. And that's what I tell people to do all the time. Please just go make a list, get started on it. Whether it's celebrating Christmas, celebrating your birthday, you can go trick-or-treating now that you couldn't do that before. You can vote, you can donate blood. And this is stuff that's safe stuff. This is not stuff where you go out, you start living La Vida Loca. This is safe stuff to do. So please, instead of worrying about what Watchtower said and what you can't do, what you can do, and you miss family, just go live. Just go live. Don't validate any of Watchtower's nonsense. Just go live. All right, so those are my pieces of advice for today. And as I said, I'll be periodically uploading videos. And please check out my channel. Please let others know about my channel. And thanks. Thanks for your support. Take care.